Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you can hear me. Yeah. My name is Luca Macchetti, and I work in the Dynamics 365 product marketing organization. And so today we're going to talk about, we're going to see what's going on when it comes to the various components of an intelligent sales and marketing story. And I will try to give you a coherent view of how do we model this intelligent sales and marketing story with Dynamics 365. And I understand I'm Italian, and I'm being an Italian on stage that talks about coherency. It's kind of weird, but yeah, bear with me. So where do we start? Let's start with the pain points. So this, what you see here is basically is to give you the idea of where we start when it comes to what's driving us when it comes to shape our intelligent sales and marketing approach. So this usually resonates very well with our customers, and so this is shaping our approach. So we start from here, and we try to understand what is the new approach that we want to follow. So how do we model with this new approach with Dynamics 365? So we start from running multi-channel campaigns, creating this 360-degree view of customers, unifying relationship data, and so on and so forth. So how do we translate this approach into pillars that make sense and can be modeled through Dynamics 365? So these are the 4 pillars, and this is what we use to build our intelligent sales and marketing story with Dynamics 365. So let's take a deeper look and see how we translate these 4 pillars into a customer journey. So so here is how we represent the intelligent sales and marketing story. So first of all, everything starts with data, right? So it's crucial for both marketing and sales to start with data. And so the idea here, what we're going to see and what we're trying to do is leveraging the right data to create personalized customer experience, right? So the idea is that if you unify and ingest the right marketing and sales data, we will see this as the very first part of our time together, then we can give your marketing teams the insights that they need to develop personalized and effective multi-channel campaign. So then we will see how with the right marketing technology, we will be able to nurture, track, and prioritize leads. So we will go a little bit into details here. And then we will see how sellers can leverage this intelligent sales technology to help them score their leads and manage their relationship in a better way. And then we will end looking at a very important part here, how we can capture key insights from marketing and sales process, and how this will help customers to continue improving their sales and marketing into the future. So there is a lot of things here, and so let's start from the first pillar. So nurture more demand. And so here we will start, and we will look at first of all the customer data platform, and then we will see how we can create this 360-degree unified view of customers, then how we use this information and this unique view of customer information in a marketing organization, how do we create a coherent customer journey, and then how we can nurture leads and track and prioritize leads. So very quickly, and this is my last slide before we jump into the actual product. So this is what we will try to cover today for this first pillar. So we'll start, looking at this holistic view of customers, and then we will go through till we see how we can track and prioritize leads across all of the touch points. Okay, so let's try to jump into the real demo here. So again, everything starts with the everything starts with the, let me see. Yes, so everything starts with the customer data platform. So for us, we're looking at Dynamics 365 Customer Insights. So basically, Customer Insights is the way we give the ability to the customer to ingest data coming from multiple data sources, and how customers can create this 360-degree view of information, of data, and how they can then use this information to create segments that can be leveraged by the marketing organization. So the first point here I would love to touch is our ability to pull information coming from different data sources. You see here Dynamics as a customer relationship management, and then utility data, product insights, billing data, web data, and so on and so forth. So what we're trying to say here is that we are able to pull information coming from different data sources. So let's say that we want to, for example, we want to add a new data source. Maybe we want to try to understand how our customers are using our products, and we want to use the IoT signals coming from those products. So we will say something like IoT data, and then thanks to predefined connectors in Customer Insights, we are able to start ingesting data coming from a lot of different places. And here so we will start with some information coming from some IoT signals. And as you see here, we have a bunch of predefined connectors that we can use. As you can easily see, it's not just Dynamics 365, it's not just Microsoft. There are third-party information, third-party database that we can leverage here. But so let's say that we want to start trying to understand how customers are using our products. So what we can use is Dynamics 365 Product Insights. So what you see here, and let me adjust a little bit, maybe it's a little bit better. So with Product Insights, for the first time, we are able to understand how customers are using the products, and we can really unlock the data to produce actionable insights. What we're seeing here is a very simple example of information coming from dishwashers, internet-connected dishwashers. We have a lot of information about, washing cycle, average energy consumption, and so on and so forth. So the interesting part here is that we can use this information and naturally flows and put all of this information and data directly into Customer Insights, and it's a very easy way to do that. We can just export and embed this information, raw data or charts, directly into Dynamics 365 Customer Insights. So again, with Product Insights, we can really unlock all of the potential of understanding how customers are using our products. So here, IoT signals directly into Customer Insights to be able to enrich customer profile. This is just one example. Let's say that we want to go to the other spectrum here. So here we're looking at IoT signals, but what if we want to enrich customer profiles with data coming from social media? So what we can do, we can use Market Insights. So we can create universe of deeper and more contextual content relevant to my business, doing things like, hey, I want to understand a little bit more about specific product or company, and so I want to understand what people are saying about this specific product, this specific company, into social media, into websites, and what kind of relationship do I have with this element? It's mine, it's not mine, or it's some kind of affiliation. So I can start creating a universe made of a lot of interesting information, and then I can simply understand what are the insights here that have been generated. Articles about 3D printer, again, information about 3D printers that make sense for me. So, and again, we can use this information and naturally enrich customer profile in Dynamics 365 Customer Insights. So what we have seen is something that is completely at the opposite side of the spectrum. So IoT signals, and here information coming from social media. Very structured information versus very unstructured information. So again, Customer Insights is the place where we can pull all of these different data sources. Again, customer relationship management, ERP, billing, web data, so on and so forth, social media, IoT signals. So now that we have been created, we have very first understanding of how powerful is Dynamics 365 when it comes to creating this unified view of customer data. So now what do we do with this information? Well, first of all, we need to be able to find a way to make sense out of all of this data. First of all, we need to find a way to map this information. Let's say that, for example, we have a customer that in one specific data source is recorded with first name and last name, and then we have the same customer that in another application, for example, here, in a website, is stored with first name, middle name, and last name. But it's always the same customer. So we need a way to map this information and make sense out of it. And this is how we start our journey when it comes to creating this unified and coherent view of customer information. And then we move forward a little bit, and we try to identify the unique customers by, again, matching records of customers here, and we create rules that gives us the ability of having data of a very high quality. So again, we're moving forward, we're trying to understand, we're trying to create this unique view of customer data, and we're working on quality here. And the last step is the merge. So we can create an entity combining duplicate fields and removing fields that we don't need. So again, we're moving forward, we're getting closer to this unique view of customer data. So when we are happy, when we think that we have done everything that we need to do in order to create this unique view, next step is to understand how do we use this information? How do we extract value from all of this data? So first of all, we can create segments. Well, probably there's a little bit more here. The artificial intelligence engine here has done the heavy lifting of using all of this information and creating automatically segments out of all of this data. So here we have a few examples. We have average spend, high churn segments, customer with open cases, and so on and so forth. So we can drill down and we can understand all of the information about all of the customers that belong to this specific segment. So again, and then we can keep refining and editing and slicing and dicing this specific segment. But probably the most important thing here is that, okay, now we have a segment, but we want to be able to use this segment into a customer journey. We want to be able to create a customer journey that use all of these segments without having to recreate information, to recreate segments, to recreate the data. So again, thanks to Dynamics 365 Customer Insights and the integration with Marketing Insights, here we are in Dynamics 365 Marketing. And we are able to use the segments that we have just seen and to create a customer journey, a very personalized customer journey for our customers. So how do we do that? Well, first of all, this is an example of, let me work a little bit on this. So this is an example of how we can create, with a visual tool, how we can create customer journey. We can drag and drop triggers we can drag and drop information about what is the channel that I want to use, how do we create a very personalized customer journey. And I can use this visual tool. But probably here the most important thing is that where do I start? I start with a segment, and this segment is exactly what, and is precisely what I was using and what I was created thanks to the artificial intelligence engine in Customer Insights. So there is this seamless integration. And then we can move forward from here, where we can create this personalized customer journey, and we can use multiple channels to do that, to interact with our customers. Emails, SMS, social media, so on and so forth. So we have a lot of different channels when it comes to being able to interact with customers. And if we move a little bit forward here, how do we understand what is the best channel to interact with customers? How do we make sure that we are communicating in the right way with our customers? For example, let's take the email as a specific channel here. What we can do is we can start and create emails using A/B testing. We can create different versions of the same email and understand which one resonates the best with our customers. And again, we can use this information to automatically tweak the customer journey. And this is great. We're not just looking at these insights and information and trying to understand what's happening. What we're saying here, we can use A/B testing. As you see here, it's a very simple example with a couple of different versions, right? And we can send a bunch of emails with a specific information, and then we can create a different version that is slightly different or totally different. And then I can use all of the insights generated from those emails, and I can understand what is the distribution of that is ideal for me, and I can use all of those insights to tweak the customer journey. And this is just one example with the email channel, but it gives you the idea of how powerful is Dynamics 365, not just in creating this unique view of customer data, but also in extracting value from all of the insights. So again, we have this customer journey here, and we can move forward. We can use other channels. You know, we can create a very personalized view of. We can create a very personalized customer journey here. So then, what is the next step? The next step is trying to be able to understand what is the impact of this customer journey in terms of lead generation. If we're doing good, if this is a successful customer journey, we have been generating a lot of leads, but what is the quality of those leads? Can we try to understand a little bit more how valuable is this customer journey by looking at the value and the score that we can provide to a specific lead? So let's look at this example here. So one day I will, yeah. So here, this is an example of one lead that has been generated by that customer journey. So a lot of information about the timeline of interaction between us and the contact, a lot of information here, but what is probably most interesting right now is this value here, this predictive lead scoring. So what we're saying is that Dynamics 365 is able to look at all of the interactions between us and a specific contact, specific person, and can look at these interactions form of email engagements, how many emails open, attachments viewed, response rate, response time, or we can create a timeline of all of the activities that we have been doing with a specific person. Meeting sent, meeting received, phone calls made, so on and so forth. And this is very rich, and this is very powerful. So by looking at all of these interactions, and this is not just Dynamics 365, but most of these interactions are in Office 365. We are able to create and understand what is the score, how well we are doing with that specific lead. And again, it's just a number, right? In this case, it's 87. Okay, that doesn't say much. But what I would love to show you here is, first of all, this is not just a static picture of what's happening right now. Because if you see the trend, we can understand, first of all, the trend. The trend is declining. So what we're saying here is that, okay, now it's 87, but it's not getting better. It's getting worse. And why is getting worse? Is there some specific information, some specific actionable insights that we can provide, that we can give to our sellers in order for them to be able to get better with that specific lead? And as you see here, we have top reasons. So we can provide specific information. What we can say is that here are the reasons why this lead is in this situation, why this opportunity is in this situation, why the relationship with this account is in this specific situation. And this, again, this is very powerful. And thanks to the artificial intelligence engine, we are able to create this information. But let's move forward a little bit. What if okay, now I have these top reasons, but I don't know, as a seller, I don't know what to do with this information. What I can do here, I can use this who knows whom, this feature that, thanks to the Office graph and again, power of Azure Cognitive Services, gives us the ability of understanding that maybe in my team, there is someone else who has a better relationship with the specific contact, with that account. Maybe in my team, there is someone who is more knowledgeable than me in this specific aspect. So I want to reach out to this person. I want to be able to understand from this person how this person can help me. So again, we started this very first part of the journey by looking at how we can create a score, how we can provide a score for a specific lead in an automatic way, and we've been moved forward. Again, this is not just a number. It's a trend. We can understand what are the reasons why we are in the specific situation and who can help us here. So this is, let me go back to my presentation. So what we've seen is this first part of the journey, of the intelligent sales and marketing journey. And again, we're investing a lot in this space. And here you see a lot of what are the most important investments that we're doing in this space. But what I think is the most important part here is that our ability to really leverage our artificial intelligence engine to extract the value out of all of this information. So let's move forward, and let's try to understand a little bit better about what's going on with the second and the third pillar. So personalized buyer experience and build relationship at scale. So again, here we will look at how we will start with trying to understand how we improve conversion and win rates. How do we enable smart selling with actionable insights and AI-driven next best action recommendation? And we will look at a bunch of very interesting things. But again, the most important part here is that we're able to, with Dynamics 365, we're able to create a customer journey that intelligently extract value out of all of different touch points. So let's move forward a little bit here. So again, we've been looking at what's happening with these leads. So now let's try to understand what's going on with, if we move forward a little bit with, and we're working with an opportunity, with an account, with specific contacts. Again, we have the ability of understanding what is the predictive opportunity scoring for the opportunity as well, with top reasons again. And this is very interesting. But what I would love you to show here is, thanks to Relationship Assistant, so now the sellers, they don't have to look at all of this information to try to extract value, but here we can automatically create cards with the important information to be able to, for the seller to provide an exceptional customer experience. In this case, hey, this opportunity is closing soon, we have this meeting, and if we click here, we get all of the information. We can provide all of the information in order for the seller to be able to be fully equipped for the upcoming meeting with this opportunity, and so on and so forth. And again, we can understand, we have always this visibility about what's going on when it comes to all of the interactions that we're having with a specific opportunity, with a specific customer. And we can leverage the integration with LinkedIn here to get even more value. For example, we can use the LinkedIn Sales Navigator here to get more information about specific content, a specific customer. Where first of all, we're able to understand, hey, what has been the recent activity of this customer that makes sense for us? So not all of the activities, but just what makes sense for us for this opportunity. And how I can use this information, how I can use all of this richness when it comes to actionable insights. I can get introduced. I can understand what are the related leads. I have a bunch of very interesting ways to use and extract value from this LinkedIn integration. And there is more than that, because let's say that we're working with a customer, and we have and at some point something happened to the customer, and the main contact, the main point of contact that we have for that customer is changing. As soon as that information is changing on LinkedIn, this information automatically flows into Dynamics 365, and we can create, the artificial intelligence engine can create a card here that says, hey, you know what, you're working on this opportunity with this person, but this person has moved on. This person has changed companies. This person doesn't do that specific activity anymore. So maybe that has an impact on you. Maybe this puts your opportunity at risk. You want to do something about that. So this is the power of our integration with LinkedIn. It's not just surfacing a few information here, but really using those information to create actionable value for the sellers. So how do we do that? Thanks to Sales Insights, we can create cards. We can create specific information and specific cards for the seller, and very personalized. For example, hey, this opportunity at risk, or there's this upcoming meeting. There's this missed close date. This close date is coming soon, and so on and so forth. So what I can do here, we can automatically create these cards for the sellers, and we can create Microsoft Flow to provide even more personalization. So it's not, so you can basically create a card that says something like, hey, if you have received a new email and if you have received that specific WhatsApp message, and if you have done this and that, then create a card that gives actionable insights to the seller. So extremely personalized focus, and this gives the seller the ability to understand what's going on and where to focus the efforts. So again, let me go back here. So again, this gives us the ability of understanding how we can work with and provide warm introductions, recommended personalized talking points, how we can manage relationships. We've been having a look at the health and health scores, how we can use information coming from LinkedIn directly into our sales process. And again, these are the where are we focusing our efforts when it comes to the continued investments on sales. So let's move forward to the last part of this presentation here, and it's, so again, how do we make insights-driven decisions? So how do we understand customer needs? How do we learn from sales calls? How do we increase sales performance? And again, the great thing here is that we're able to, let me see if I have this. So the great thing here is that we have the ability of understanding what's going on when it comes to all of the sales calls that our sellers are doing with our customers. We can use Azure Cognitive Services and the speech-to-text cognitive service to translate all of these sales calls into text and then apply natural language processing to be able to understand and detect the tone and the register of the conversation, so sentiment analysis, as well as what are the main content and the main topics that we've been discussing with our customers, as well as what is the status of the, for example, what characterizes top sellers. For example, we can have an understanding of the talk to listen ratio, which is the talk to listen ratio that is ideal, and we can understand what are top sellers in the team that have been mentioning specific content. So we can look at sales calls and really extract value from those information, as well as from customer surveys that we can create and send using Forms Pro. So here, let me give a little bit of, let's see what's going on. If I'm a sales manager and I want to understand how my team is performing. So again, I can have insights, specific insights generated from the artificial intelligence engine. For example, here, hey, these people in my team are falling behind the rest on most conversational KPIs, or this person has the highest negative customer sentiment across sales calls. So in the next one-to-one that I have with my team, with this person, I can try to talk about this and try to find a solution. Or we can look at the overall customer sentiment in all of this conversation, and customer sentiment by sales rep. What is the conversational style? And I can go deeper, and I can try to understand what's going on with every single person in my team. For example, here, I have this insight specific for this person, and I can go even deeper than this, because we can, thanks to the Azure Cognitive Services and speech-to-text service, we can translate, we can have a transcript of the conversation, so we can do some interesting correlations here. We can say something like, so this is the transcript of the conversation. This is where I can see the related opportunity to this specific conversation. And I can do some interesting correlation here, say something like, when the customer was, and when they were discussing about this fused filament, there was a drop in the sentiment. So this may have some value. So I want to be able to provide, as a sales manager, I want to be able to provide and to give this very specific information to my seller in order for him to be able to get better. So again, and this is, we can provide, when we can have very interesting, we can extract very interesting value from all of this information, because we can combine information around the tone and the register of the conversation, so the sentiment analysis, with information about the specific content that has been mentioned by the seller or by the customer. So here, and this provides, again, and this creates automatically actionable insights. For example, hey, your average switch per conversation is lower than XYZ. So this is very specific and actionable insights. So what we have seen today, so this is the very last part of the journey, and so this is how we are trying to map what we're doing in terms of the intelligent sales and marketing sales play into specific Dynamics 365 products. And this gives you the idea of how rich is this space, how complex is this space. But again, hopefully now you have the general idea of how we're making progress in this specific space. So if you want to learn more about marketing and sales, there are these two learning paths that you might want to complete, working with Dynamics 365 for marketing, as well as working with Dynamics 365 for sales. And again, this has been the second out of 5 specific sessions on Dynamics 365. And next one will be tomorrow at 9:15. It's going to be on establish a proactive service organization. So thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you.